you neurodivergent, and does making friends just feel like too much work sometimes? I totally get it. It can feel like too much. Hi friends, I'm Caroline Maguire, and I am here to talk about neurodivergent friendship. I am neurodivergent. I have dyslexia, ADHD, and a buffet of learning disabilities. And for the past 18 years, I have been working with clients, writing books like Why Will No One Play With Me, and helping people make friends. I am all about the how. How can we make friends in a way that works for us? Because the typical advice, it just doesn't apply. Before I get started, please like this video, subscribe to my channel, and hit the bell so that whenever I go live, you can follow along. A lot of times when I read blogs and articles about friendship, they don't talk about the way things are for us who are neurodivergent and who have ADHD, autism, dyslexia, learning disabilities. They give advice that I'm like, well, that's nice. If I could do that, I would do that. So what I try to do is figure out how to help people make friends, make connections, and have those kinds of skills that we need in a way that is friendly to our neurology and is easier for us and takes into account the fact that things can be very hard for us, rather than pretending we're going to suddenly become neurotypical or things are going to suddenly change for us, because that's masking. If we're going to pretend to be someone else, then it's masking, and it's not at all what we need to do. What we're trying to do is make friends and have connections and be able to read cues in a way that works for us. I wrote Why Will No One Play With Me because a little boy who I was working with, who was young, we were working on reading logs. And if you know anything about ADHD kids, we will read the book, but we will never write in your log. And I asked him some dumb question. I asked him, if you could change anything, what would you change? And he said, you know what I want to know, Caroline? I want to know, why will no one play with me? When I was working with clients early on at that time, social and friendship kept coming up. And that little boy just changed my world, because I was a kid who didn't have friends, and I was a kid who people didn't play with. And I was a kid who felt like out of sync and out of place. And it really is what you care about. I don't think kids and adults care as much about some of the other stuff that people are trying to teach us as much as we care about the fact that we want lasting friendships. And when I started on this journey, I would go to lectures and hear experts talk about friendship and social skills, and they would talk about the problems. There was this one time I went to the ladies' room, and there was a mother in there, and she was crying. She said, I got a babysitter for this, and now I'm leaving here and I don't have any answers, and I need answers. And I took rolls of paper towel and I wrote out for her how to do the process that they were talking about in the lecture. And I think this comes to my ADHD. It just irked me. It bothered me. Why are people always talking about the problem? We know the problem. What's the solution? How do you do this in a way that works with our brain? And so I started on this journey. I went and I got my master's degree at Lesley University. I studied child development. I studied how people form connection. And then I started to work with kids and teenagers and young adults and adults to teach them and to work with them so that they can have real friendship. And part of it is that I'm working on this myself every day. I am not perfect at this. No one is. And I'm never going to pretend that I am. I am going to tell you that part of why I am good at teaching this and good at helping people is because I struggle with it and I know what it's like to struggle. We need to find a way to feel confident and good about ourselves. I had one thing. I was bullied. It's a matter of public record now where a lot of my bullying stories and how I was bullied, they're in Why Will No One Play With Me in my book, and people talk about them and ask me about them. But the fact is, I did have one other thing. I had drama. Every afternoon at 3:30, I was good at something, and I had something to build my confidence. So one of the things we have to start doing is looking at our strengths and having that as part of our daily life, because you have to have confidence to make friends. You have to have confidence to be yourself. You have to have confidence to get out there. And I can tell you that I still don't have enough confidence, but I have more because I know my strengths than if I didn't know my strengths. We will have Jessica McCabe, Dr. Ned Hollowell, Renee Brooks, Brendan Mahan, lots of fun people on the channel. Dr. Sharon Saline, talking about anxiety, to help us all make the connections we need and find friends. And I'm really excited to share all the information about how do you do this? How do you stop blurting and interrupting? How do you find a way to be your authentic self, but also notice social cues? How do you cope with bombardment in a crowd? And how do you build friendships? I'm all about the real steps to how, and that's what this channel is going to be about. I don't cook. I reheat. I make reservations. I'll make like pasta and tacos and stuff, but I find cooking really boring. It's a very ADHD trait, and I just don't like to do it. So a few years ago, I was like, why? Why do I have to cook? And I did meal planning, and it was so boring. I hated it. And so I've just found workarounds. I found ways around it. I always joke that I reheat. My kids are great cooks. My husband's a great cook, but I don't cook. I grew up on Cape Cod, and I still love summer and all things Cape Cod. I grew up in a very rural, small place, and it was in many ways hard, but in many ways awesome. Thank you to those who stayed to the end, and I really enjoy helping people, and I hope we can help each other on this journey to make friends. Please subscribe to my channel, like this video, and hit the bell so that you can see any time that I go live. Thank you so much, and let me know in the comments, what is it that you need and how can I help you make friends?